Well, hey guys, how's everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're having a great day. We're just going to get right into it here. We're about to start our little MS170 hot rod project. If it's even possible to hot rod this thing, I'll tear this down on the video because it might help somebody, might not. But, you know, we're going to do it anyway. You have to bear with me. I've not worked on one of these little saws as far as internally in longer than I can remember. So there's that. I can get that chain off of the adjuster, and these do have a front mount adjuster. I've got one here at my uncle's. I'm waiting on a package from Farmer Tech to come in to work on it. It mainly just kind of needed a clutch and a new bar and chain. The dang sprocket honestly blew apart on the end of the bar, or bearing failed in it or something, but it's needing a little TLC, and the clutch looks like it's the one that came on it probably 20 years ago, so I was making an order anyway, and it was cheaper just to get things there, like a lot cheaper. These clips are going to want to be a pain. I ain't expecting to make a race saw or anything out of this to compete with anybody or anything. I just want something better than what I've got, and I'm going to try to take it as far as I can without taking anything away from it, kind of way the way we done the little Craftsman saw we just done. I want a night and day difference on it, but I don't want it to be a turd if I put it back in a piece of hard wood either, so the little Craftsman, there may be some people that might not agree with how I done that. That's fine. They are saws that honestly do benefit from opening things up, making things, I don't know, flow better, breathe better. That particular little saw is one of them. I ain't even 100% sure that had to go, but it looks like it did. I ended up having to move the exhaust roof on it further than what I wanted, and honestly I was kind of afraid of that when I went back to do the retest, but when I started it up here on the bench and went to dialing it in, I could just tell that it just didn't take anything away from it, and we moved that roof a lot. It's one of them cases, it may have lost compression over where it was at, but on that little saw, what it's meant to be used for and what it will be used for, I don't know that we really hurt anything at all. Well, I mean, you could tell it had a substantial amount of torque over what it had stock, and somebody's laughing because they know them caps had to come off before the cover would come off. It's a freaking crazy design. But this one, we're going to try to gain a little compression, I hope, over where it's at. I probably should check it, but I'm not going to fool with it. Because I know if what I'm wanting to do is going to work. But again, I won't know till I get the saw apart. Should increase compression on the little saw. That's the goal anyway. At the end of the day, it's a 30cc power saw. Just hope people are not using it to actually try to fall a 16 or 18 inch tree. Again though, I have seen guys run tree services with these things, and I'm saying a small tree service. I think now I'm going to put these caps back on so we don't have fuel and oil going everywhere. Like watching paint dry, huh? Does look like the handle needs to come back off, I think. Great, we just put that on. We just put that on not long ago. This video might be a longer one than I wanted it to be. It looks like once I get the handle off and out of the way, and the muffler, carburetor, and flywheel, and the coil, not a whole lot left after that. I should have just waited on the handle. When I done this, would have made more sense. Because what cutting I done with the saw, I done with the whole broke handle. Alrighty. So now we need to get this cover off. I guess we're doing another handle removal video. Actually, quite a bit of stuff on this little saw, honestly. It's one of the few Farmer Tech kits I've not put together. I've done a 250 back in the day, but boy was that thing junk. Nothing fit right. It had running issues, carb issues, coil issues. It just, at the time, it would have costed more to alleviate it all than the little thing was worth, honestly. I'll get that off of there right eventually. Alright, we should be able to work the handle off of the saw now. And like I said, this sucks because I should have just waited to put the handle on. is going to be a pain. There we go. We'll go to the muffler next, being that's where we're at here. And I do have a big big dog for it coming from Farmer Tech to put on it. And I do have parts coming to do the 250 project, so we'll be getting back into that. There ain't much I can do there. I've done a few of those. We're going to kind of get it back together. I'm hoping the cylinder that was on it was usable, because that was the route I went. There wasn't a lot of aluminum transfer in the top of the cylinder, so I'm hoping most of it will clean out. You'd really be surprised at what you can reuse. I've reused some pretty shady looking stuff in a pinch. And there's what she has to breathe through once you get that deflector and the screen out. It's actually not that bad at all. Normally on a 250 that cage goes all the way around, and I'll cut a big portion of that out, but this muffler here is not really restrictive at all. Is there room for improvement? Yes, I'll probably cut all of that out, honestly. When we go back together, and honestly, it'll probably be good enough for what I'm going to do on this little saw. Is there even a dang gasket? If there was, I don't see it. It's not stuck to the saw. I'm pretty sure I at least should have been a heat shield or something. No gasket, unless it fell off of the muffler somewhere and I'm just not seeing it or didn't see it. So I don't know, we'll have to look into that for sure. It's not laying here anywhere, so I don't know. No gasket. Hell, maybe they don't have a gasket. I've seen that before, but we'll at least put some high temp RTV back on it or something, but who knows. Cool carburetor. Let's get the carburetor off of it next. Not a lot of room for improvement there on that. We can cut some of this out for a little better flow, I think, but not a whole lot we can do there with that. I'm just kind of curious if a 250 filter setup would fit it and then the saw still locked down. That's something we might have to look into. I have one here, but I need to use it on the 250 I'm working on, so, you know, again, who knows. I do see something different here with this carburetor. I'm sure I can just take this diaphragm cap off maybe and put it on the other saw, or then again, I highly doubt it. Let's see. None of this modification stuff, guys, is normally straightforward, so what we'll be doing is plugging this hole off when we go back together, because this carburetor here it has the compensation port on it. It's like if your air filter gets dirty, what that does is lets the carburetor know not to make it so damn rich. If that makes sense, it controls the height of the meter and lever through the meter and diaphragm. So again, you know, that's there if your air filter gets stopped up, where the saw won't be running pig rich. Same choke setup as the little 250. Looks like the same exact choke lever, honestly. You don't want to lose that. Fuel line, we've already alleviated pressure off that. We're pulling the cap. And evidently it's still under good heavy pressure, because it just went all up my arm. And just stick you a little bolt down in the end of that hose, and it should keep it from spewing fuel everywhere. I would not have thought it would have got pressure back on it that quick. There shouldn't be nothing else got us. This thing should come out of there realistically. Okay guys, you will have to forgive me. Like I said, it has been years since I worked on one of these. Or actually dove into one this far. Probably a better part of 6 or 7 years. But to get the carb out, you have to pull the control lever out. It's got the one wire goes on the top of it. And I went ahead and took that little shroud off of the back, and then the carb just slides right off. You got your little ring. It's a little different than what you would typically see. Don't want to lose that. What I wanted to look at was the throttle linkage on this, and it is quite some bit different than the throttle linkage on the 250 carb. We'll have to look into figuring out how exactly to modify the 250 linkage to work, or the throttle lever rather. That looks like it's about everything on this side of the saw, honestly, other than this little deflector, the coil wire, and then pushing the intake boot through when we remove the engine out of the chassis. Lay this back here. Get our spark plug out. The plug in this thing was so tight, it was almost unbelievable. I ended up taking a hammer and whacking the end of the scrinch to break it loose. That stuff's just totally unnecessary for a spark plug to be that tight. Hopefully it's 27. And that it is. We dang sure don't want to lose that. That's for sure. I guess we'll just let that hang there for now. What I'm going to do next, I guess, get the flywheel off of it and finish the disassembly so we can end this video, because it's probably just stupid long. Let's see if maybe we can get a scrunch behind that, pop it loose somewhere. There we go. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. Keyway in the flywheel, it makes for easy timing advance, which we'll more than likely do here. And on that little Craftsman, you gotta remember it was rich. It had no timing advance on the flywheel at all yet, so there is room for improvement with that little saw, believe it or not. And looks like we got 4 T27s that hold it into the chassis of the saw. Wow, that was super stupid loose. Those are usually really tight. Really tight. That's the only thing about that long extension on that. It does make it just a little bit of a nightmare to those just look like typical bolts that would be in the cylinder of any other Stihl saw. They do have a little bit of a sleeve up on the end of them though. They are a little different. But I'm sure in a pinch you could just use any other bolt from any other Stihl saw on it. Or Husky or whatever fit it. And we should be out of here, guys. I'll get the intake bead out. There we have it. One tiny engine that looks like it's held on by a sleeve, similar to the 250s. Evidently it works. So who am I to argue with that? But anyway, guys, to be honest with you, it's probably going to wrap it up on this video. It's probably way longer than it needed to be. I know, super boring, but believe it or not, over time, not right away, but over time, your tear down and your repair videos are what do the best in this community, I guess is what I'm getting at. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, y'all have a good one.